Anything we want to finish talking about before we jump into our first segment, which will start the OSR trend for today? All right.
I want to see how much better, percentage-wise, issue number 2 is compared to issue number 1 of Dragon Magazine. I am interested, and I believe that it's going to be light years better. Light years.
Okay. Well, let's see about that. So for segment 1 today, we are going to go through, let's just do screen, because I'm lazy. I'll just F11
Subscribe for lazy.
Subscribe for lazy. Love it. There we go. The Dragon. And, he put up the number 1 banner too. Great. So, in order to set the tone for today's OSR discussion in segment 2. Is it?
Than that goofy-ass dragon in the first cover? Yeah.
Fair. Okay, now some things to consider. Again, 1976. August 1976. Some of you weren't even born then. I was 3. Actually, I would have just turned 3. August 15th. Some things that I noted on here. Again, I was a graphic artist, so I cannot paint. Like this actual this refrigerator art here looks better than anything I could do. I'm good at layout and design. I'm not good at art. But I noticed that if you look at fantasy here, whoever did the typesetting there slipped. That stuck out to me. Yeah, those are the kind of things I used to have to look for. But again, the color, I don't understand. 4-color processing. Why are you using this kind of dark teal cyan over?
Limitations of the time.
It's 4-color process. It's almost always 4-color processing for this.
Yeah,
stuff.
This is issue number 2. They didn't have a lot of money to throw at this. So
anyway, but the thing that I still look at this as is, I know I said it last week, is like a college, a newsletter from the 70s. I know it's more production quality than that, but they're still brand new at this. So they had the one that set the tone for this as strategic, whatever it was. So they're still new. It's still 1976. It's not like you've got all types of computers run around. I mean, their computer labs did, but it's not like, everybody had a home PC with a 3D printer that could just have this guy pop out, on foil covers. So, all right, we're still talking about Gen Con again, which would be August 20, 21, 20. Did you see they changed the dates for Gen Con this year?
No.
It's in September now.
Really?
Apparently,
is it physical yet, or is it still going to be virtual?
That's why they moved it to September, is because they think that they might allow physicality at that time, but they're going to keep a lot of their venues for online. Good news is maybe less nerds there to smell bad.
There was a thing about the date. It coincided with a religious holiday, and that's why it was moved.
What religion, and why do I care?
I want to think Jewish. It fell on a Jewish holiday.
Okay.
Yom Kippur.
I don't know anything about Jewish holidays.
Yeah, it either started or ended on Yom Kippur, so they moved it.
I mean, I don't care. Religion doesn't bother me, so I don't care. Like, what I read, and that may be added to it, what I read was that they thought that the things were supposed to be open by September, and they wanted to be have more chance of that. If the holiday adds to that, hey, yet another reason. Fritz Lieber. I don't know. That looks crooked to me. It's like they didn't center. It looks angled. Okay. So anyway, that's Gen Con. Dragon Rumbles. So let's talk about in Dragon Rumbles here is pretty much like, hey, we had our first issue, and people had some things to say, but they didn't tell it to the editors. So make sure when you write your letters, you write it to the editor. Other than that, hey, thanks for your favorable comments. Other than that, yeah. And Timothy Kask, which somebody sent me some videos about him. Somebody had words about my boule. Star Wars was negative. Star Wars, yeah, it was negative 1 years old, right? I don't care. Look, this excuse that people have that English is such a funny language and blah blah blah. No, there are rules to English. Okay, just because some of the rules go back hundreds of years, and some of the rules change, and some of the rules have exceptions, and so on and so forth. There are rules to English. Bullette is never, ever, ever in any form of English boule. It's either boulette because you're pronouncing it, or it's French, again, boulette. Like, if you want it to be boule, I don't care if you say, well, it's French. Great, then take off the last ET. I will never pronounce it boule, just as I will never pronounce it GIF, because by all English rules, GIF is GIF. It's GIF because of how you say it in 3 letters, and it's GIF because the first letter is graphic. It's a hard G. No matter how you look at it, it's GIF. I don't care what the creator says. He doesn't get to determine English language. So, anyway, it's boulette or land shark. Weirdos. All right, monkish combat. Yeah, like
monkish, racist.
Well, this is fun. So this dude, apparently John M. Seaton, was like, I take karate. Okay. And it's right here. It was at, let my wife come in here and tell me how wrong I am when I pronounce it. Neisi Goju-ryu. So he's like, I take karate, and there are things that we do in karate. So I want to actually make the monk have some more convoluted crap to make the game slower. I say that with love, by the way. And I actually mean that. By the way, either of you guys, DM Bloodworth and Heathen Dog, jump in whenever you want to talk about things you see here. But he basically is like, I'm going to make this a more convoluted system so that you can have more realistic combat. And it's one of those things, I got to tell you, that in the 70s and 80s, I did a lot. Well, not in the 70s. I was too young then. But in the 80s, I did a lot of this as well. Like, how can I make this more realistic? And by doing so, he made it so convoluted, it was almost impossible to use. So what does he say here? Well, first of all, we're going to do this arena fight thing. So the solution is add 10 times your level to get how many damage points you can take. Okay? Multiply strength and constitution, then add 10 times your level to get damage points taken. This is the number of damage points you can take. Next, add strength, dexterity, and half your intelligence to get damage points given. This is the amount of damage you can inflict with a normal blow. When you have DPT and DPG, then you're ready to approach the mat for combat.
This isn't like, kill you combat. This is more like ritualistic or
yes, but it can still kill. But you're right. It is more like one-on-one Bruce Lee versus the Chinese mafia thing.
It's the octagon.
Yeah, there you go. It's MMA before there's MMA. The combat consists of as many turns it takes for one combatant to succeed or concede or die. See, you can die.
Okay.
Each turn is 10 sets long. A turn is 10 sets, 10 rounds, and each set is 6 units long.
What? What the hell's a unit? What the hell's a set?
This represents the combinations that a monk would use in his initial attack. Thereafter, each stop period represents new plots and plans that are formed by each player after each combat. So basically what you're doing. In Kung Fu, we call them forms. I think you call them katas in karate. It's your set of maneuvers. Side kick, swing kick, sweep, leopard fist. So that's what you would do. That's basically you'd say, I'm using the first form of the first 10 combinations. So you do those. So both players write the 6 units of combat they execute. And here would be the combat right here. Okay? And then write fight, or write end fight. If after the set, it is found that the combatant is below 3/4 DPT, all succeeding blows are at half strength. Do a little math in here. At any time between blows, a combatant may concede the battle. Combat immediately stops and the victors then recognizes the new or current master. Sometimes scrolls are given up, blah, blah, blah. So combat is as follows. If a player wishes to change an order after a unit has been read, he must make a percentage roll of dexterity to do so. After a good roll, for example, you could change a kick or strike to a block.
Well, what's a good roll?
Well, a dex check.
Yeah, but it said after you make a percentage roll based on dexterity, but what is a good roll?
Get to that.
Okay.
Kicks will not work with, I think we'll get to that. I remember something, maybe, I hope that's this chapter. Kicks will not work within arm's length, and obviously a strike cannot connect outside of arm's length. All matches start. You see where this is going, right? I really didn't intend on reading the entire thing. I can if you want me to, but
no, it's fine. This is a whole new rule set for just basic hand-to-hand combat, which every every game is going to have anyway.
Usually they're much more simplified than this.
Yes.
Now, if you want something that is more, I don't want to say convoluted. I don't want to keep using that word, but I mean, it is the word for it. More that is convoluted, then this might work for you. If not, well, and of course, you have modifiers because everything has modifiers. Double damage, triple damage, blocked. So if you were to do a face kick, I think that's what that is, and I were to do this XBL, something block, it's got an asterisk. Oh, you grabbed me. Your next 3 units of blows all tell at normal value. This must be old-fashioned lingo. All tell at normal value. Opponent cannot con strikes until the 3rd unit. Okay. Anyway, and look, little Bruce Lee drawings in here from the Tao Jeet Kune Do. Oh, okay. Is there anything you really want to know about that? The point is, just like last week, we're going to make rules and we're going to make them as complicated as we can because the game's for nerds. It's not for the masses. And
it worked. It worked really well. This is actually more complicated than D&D 2nd Edition Psionic Combat.
At this point, I'd say just you two go outside and fight, and whoever walks back in here wins.
There you go.
All right. Max Lee drawings. There you go. The Gnome Cache. Didn't read it. Did you ever read the Gnome Caches back in the day, DM Bluddworth?
No, this is actually prior to my day.
Okay.
I mean, even though I started playing in about 77, Dragon Magazine wasn't something that we really started looking at until probably about 80 or so. So 1980, I should say. So yeah, this is before my time.
I didn't know anything about Dragon Magazine until there was an issue. And I still have it photocopied this is back when I played BattleTech, of mech quirks. Now mech quirks are integrated into the game, blah, blah, blah. But basically it was like it's +1 to hit a jumping spider. The locust doesn't have arms, it can't punch. Things like that. That was in a Dragon magazine. That was the first time I even ever heard of Dragon or Dungeon magazine. I was like, oh. And yeah, I've got a bunch of them. I had a bunch of them. There are some things, of course, I think everybody knows the whole dumb alignment thing, like chaotic stupid and whatnot. That was a pretty famous meme. One of them I really liked, though, was a write-up on paladins. And it's one that I still use to this day that says that paladins are humble. Paladins teach by example. Paladins don't cut off thieves' wrists just because the thief stole something. A crusader might, but not a paladin. And so anytime, I keep that one. I have that one printed out as well. It's got a whole ton of coffee stains on it. But I make sure to have that with me anytime there's a paladin in the group and he starts going too far. Read this. You need to read this. But other than that, be honest with you, I don't know. I'm kind of I don't want to say a jerk, but I usually just don't care what other people have to say. I like getting ideas, but reading something like this to say, this is how you should handle monk combat. That was too much. I've been playing my chaotic good path. Yes, you have. Mm-hmm. Starting with the words chaotic good.
Yeah. Starting with character generation.
Wow. Although now, wasn't it Dragon Magazine that actually came out with paladins for each alignment? They had different names than paladins, but because people were doing the anti-paladin thing a lot and so forth. I think it was Dragon Magazine that came out with that, so each alignment could have its own paladin type.
That was probably true.
It was a great thought experiment, but it was, again, something I wouldn't use.
A lot of things were tested out in Dragon Magazine before they made it to the printed hardcovers.
I can see that.
Almost all of Unearthed Arcana was Dragon Magazine. Dragon Magazine prior to that. Almost all of the Manual of the Planes, particularly the Nine Hells. The Nine Hells in Dragon Magazine was a phenomenal article. I don't know if it actually was translated precisely from that to the Manual of the Planes, although it should have been, but that was an incredible article that was in Dragon Magazine first.
Now that's something that I would actually read more about. I hate Planescape. Partially because it explains too much. Well, first of all, Sigil's a stupid city. That's the dumbest concept ever. I will never accept it. I will never allow it. I will never. If you're a 3rd level character and you're on Sigil, guess what? There are 2 words for you, both 3 letters long. You die. 3rd level characters don't go to the outer planes. I don't like that lady that sweeps around that stops the devils and demons or Tanari and Batsu and the Yugolas from fighting. Shut up. No, it's dumb. Outside of that, I also didn't really like the name changes for a bunch of the realms. I thought the traditional names of the 9 hells versus was Avernus or whatever it's called. I prefer the more colloquial names. But if there's one thing that Planescape did well, if you wanted this, me, I didn't, but if you wanted this, is that it really defined the planes better. Because the manual of the planes was so loose, your version could be so different from my version. They're literally 2 different universes, which good. I mean, that's a lot of what first edition AD&D was about. Like, here's the game, how you make yours. I mean, that's why you have Greyhawk, Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms, Lankmar, and so on and so forth, in my opinion. And talking about that, going with what you were saying, well, last week we talked about Lankmar was in here, right? The City of Thieves. Yep. And the...
Newton.
What was that character class? The Alchemist? Or is it the Artificer? The Artificer.
Yeah, Artificer, yeah.
Artificer, because the Alchemist is in this one. Spoiler. So this is for Raven's Lair if he's watching, because I know he loves this game. Empire of the Petal Throne.
The Petal Throne.
Yep. So it's a really old game. I read through it, and it's definitely an old style game. But I know he likes that. So Raven's Lair, if you're watching, look at that. They're talking about it here for you, and we'll get to that in, looks like, for 4? 2 episodes from now. Anyway. Now, the search for the Forbidden Chamber, the conclusion. Yep, not reading it. Remember those dwarves we saw last week?
But did they find the Forbidden Chamber? It's the conclusion. I want to know.
You can read it, but I think they still sell these CDs. No, actually, you can get them online for free anyway. The mapping of the dungeons, look at this, a lot bigger. Remember last week it had 10 names?
Right. This is the Dungeon Master list.
Yes.
Find a DM in your local area.
There you go. Hope you live in St. Louis, man.
Man.
Let's see. Oh, here's for DM Bluddworth. Go to Harrisburg. I'll go to Minneapolis, I guess. Drew Avenue. I know where that is. Can't picture it though. More St. Louis. Wow, St. Louis is a hotbed.
Yeah.
Either that or they're just all competing. I'm a better DM than you.
Yeah, screw you.
Here you go, Muskegon. You can go there.
Hey, that's only like 8 hours away. That's fine.
Well, D&D was mostly Midwestern anyway, so you're
true.
You're going to see a lot more there. There's a New York.
Where's New York?
Jamaica, New York. So that's really Queens. So that's New York City.
I was going to say a bad joke. I won't.
Back then, so late 70s, New York City. Get good luck with that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's right. That's before Giuliani. Gen Con update. We talk about some Gen Con stuff. Look at that. The rules. Look at this. Now they're changing the rules of Dungeons and Dragons for tournament play already in 1976. The rules will include material from D&D volumes 1 through 3 and Greyhawk. Due to the relative newness, materials from Blackmoor and Eldritch Wizardry, which I honestly have never even heard of this one, will not be used. And they're going to have 100 people. Is it 100 people? 120 people? What is it? It's groups. They talk about 20 groups. And they'll be broken into 5, and they're going to do a point system to see who wins. And it's going to be per class. So there'll be 1 cleric that wins, 1 fighter that wins, and so forth. And let's go sell some products. Oh, I'm buying this for sure. I see the quality.
Oh, it's perfect. That's not Super Ditto Machine. That's fine.
Hints for D&D judges, the dungeons. I read this one, but I forgot what it's about already. It talks about making dungeons. Okay, it's traps inside dungeons, and apparently at this point in time, look, I got to tell you something. One of the things I want to say, I don't want to say I don't like about Dungeon Magazine, but I don't like about a lot of stuff that's written out there, generally speaking. is, pardon me, Aaron, and pardon me, Venger, but I don't like Gonzo. I like realistic. So I've got, was a Grimtooth's book of traps over there. I can't use any of them. It's like, it's a pyramid. But if you walk this way, the pyramid flips upside down and you fall with an anti-gravity. Like, wait, what? Like, none of that makes sense. It's magic. No. And, but what essentially what they're saying here is you're like saying, hey, you can find ways of, having different types of traps. Like, how about this? You put a skeleton together. You could use a skeleton, or the skeleton could be trapped. Let's see. You find a normal chest. So you roll percentile dice. It's a normal chest. Or it's not. It's trapped. Go to the following table. You roll again. Let's do this 66 to 75. When chest is open, it acts as a mirror of life trapping. That's great for low-level characters.
What? That's come on, man.
Remember, in the old days, you could be walking down the street. Well, okay, walking down the path, and you might run into a goblin or a red dragon.
Yeah.
That's just...
It was like death was around every corner in first edition.
Well, it was around every percentile die or D20. All members within 5 feet lose 1 level of experience. Remember how, oh God, like, I remember some of the first times I played D&D and how characters would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, like that. And nowadays, if you were to try to do that to a player nowadays, well, they'd rage quit.
They'd lose their minds.
I mean, nobody liked being level drained.
Oh yeah, when there was undead anywhere, like wraiths or whatever, specters, they're like, no, I'm out. But we have to save the princess. Bitch is dead. I don't know. I'm out. I'm gone.
Bruce Lombardo said Eldritch Wizardry was good. A bunch of homebrew ideas for homebrew game made a year after it came out. Okay. But yeah, intelligent chest act as if chest is a 2nd to 9th level magic user, including spells.
That is a huge level range. The D8 plus 1, that's crazy.
Yep. So anyway, it talks about traps, and let's talk about some magic items you could find. A hobbit's pipe. So
super high? What?
Do you think in any item printed nowadays you would find a pipe? Cigarette? I don't know. Anything to do with smoking?
No.
Pipe weed.
So, when the common pipe weed is smoked, the pipe will give the user the ability to blow multicolored smoke rings because, that's cool at the rate of 4 per turn.
Great.
I could never do smoke rings, man. I sucked. And these smoke rings will go wherever ordered by the creator, moving at 4 inches per turn through high winds will disperse them, and at first this seems like a worthless ability, yeah? Consider an evil high priest attacks a party of 3, one of which owns a pipe. He lights it and sends smoke rings around the EHP's head, blinding and confusing him so that he can't use his spells.
Really? It's a smoke ring.
I'm just saying, man. Pipe weed of tranquility. Smoke from this pipe weed will cause all hostile creatures to refrain from attacking.
Hey, man.
Smoking for life, dude. It's smoking for life.
Chill, bruh.
Anyway, my favorite one was this one just because of the name. Pipe weed of Acapulco. It's easy to see all the fun a judge could have with a player character who happens to accidentally smoke this. Cause the smoker treat everyone as his friend. Stands around in a stupor, not attack and defend at a -3.
We're all brothers, man.
It's like me when I get drunk. Yeah, man.
Could you bring it in?
Bring it in.
I just checked real quick, and this is a response to the Hobbit cartoon movie came out this same year.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not surprised.
The Ralph Bakshi one?
Yes. So I'm not surprised that they're putting this in the magazine to kind of piggyback off of that.
Sure. So I don't know if you saw, but we actually did an episode on Ralph Bakshi's Wizards.
Yes, I know. I would.
Yeah.
All right, Shadow of a Demon. Another
story.
Look, I don't have a problem with it. Again, if this was printed out, I'd have no problem taking the time to read it. I just don't like to read computer screens. But it gives you ideas for adventures. It gives you, some decent NPCs. It also, what I like about stories like this is it does give you help for narration. if you read enough of these things, you will actually improve your narrative skills as a DM. I believe, anyway. A feathered serpent, an article, Quetzalcoatl, blah, blah, blah. Aztec stuff. Okay. And let's fully illustrated catalog for $2. Where are we now? Oh, no, this is still
the story. Yeah. Creature features.
The Remores. Look, it's in color this time.
Wow.
Last time it was the land shark. Now it's the Remores. Have you ever used one of these in your game?
Nope.
Neither have I. I keep looking at it and I never use it, partially because it's a pretty high level character or NPC creature. Yeah. And most of my characters don't get this on. But let's look.
In GURPS Conan, it was used.
In GURPS
Conan?
Conan?
GURPS Conan, yeah, it was one of the major adversaries and the complete module. I mean, that was that was the biggie.
The end boss.
Yeah, that was the end boss.
So it moves 12 inches. I think that's if these stats are the same as normal stats, that would be the same as a human. And by normal, I mean second edition AD&D, which is what I know the most. Hit dice, 6, 10, or 14. 20% chance to find in its lair, treasure type F. Bites for 3 to 36. It could nibble you or it could swallow you whole.
Yep. Love that ring.
Well, 3d12, yeah. See, breathe for 3, 5, or 7 dice, that'd be d6s, by the way, of fire damage. Obviously, these are like age categories.
Right.
It's 75% magic resistant.
Wow, that's no joke.
Magic missile.
Oh.
Wouldn't be using magic missile on this.
Yeah, who
thing
use
anyway.
a magic missile on this thing? No, this thing's lightning bolt, nuclear bomb territory.
Meteor swarm. I don't know all the spells they had in basic D&D at this point. So, this guy,
he's gonna die.
I don't think he's gonna do so well.
Yeah, he's gonna die. He's gonna get breathed on, and then he's gonna die because the armor he's wearing is
flammable.
Tan. is like he got tan, and he thinks it's armor. So
it's his own. Was it? I want their flesh leather. Number appearing 1 to 4.
Oh, great! Only if you're in the lair. Outside the lair, just 1.
Fair enough. Yeah.
See, that's why there's only 1 in the picture because we're outside. So there you
go. 30 foot long, blue hued underneath. Let's see, armor class. Underside is 4, the back is 0. Plus special. Oh, the head is 2. What's the special? The fire that prefers coldness of mountains, blah, blah, blah. Flap its earthborn wings when close to a prey. Yeah, there's a long write up here. So we're just going to... There's a long... Wait a minute.
Oh, my God.
That is not all this thing, is it?
It's got to be.
No, this is the story.
Oh, that's the story. Yeah, okay.
Remember, layout was done differently back then. They'd have you read like half and then they'd stop and make you start another one to get you interested in more than one thing. The newspapers still do that, I think. Anyway, the ring bearer. I guess there are a lot of Hobbit references here.
Mm-hmm.
Knights of the Round Table. Oh my God, I completely forgot about that. Bob, yeah. I don't know this name. I know this name though. Bob Charette. Why do I know this? Anyway, okay, that's just weird. Wheaton, Maryland. Don't know where that is. Okay. Yep. Oh, wait. Here we go. His up chamber. So that's
from page 10.
Yeah, these.
Is that more the?
Yeah, this back of the traps. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Star Trek series.
What's that?
It's highlighted.
When it comes to ordinary monsters for guarding normal treasures, D&D, Greyhawk, Blackmore, and creature features in the Dragon have everything you need. But when it comes to those special treasures, then look to fantasy writers like H.P. Lovecraft. What is this? Chapter N? Is that what it is?
Yeah, there you go.
It's basically what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. Dune, some Star Trek, and so on and so forth. All right. So anyway, we have now gone through the second issue of Dragon Magazine. Oh no, we have not.
Oh, the Alchemist. Forgot about the Alchemist.
I thought this was the last. I thought this was the last page. Yeah. So we have the Alchemist. Remember, this is for basic D&D. So you know what really not angers me, but what kind of upsets me about this? I made an Alchemist using the second edition character class, creation rules, Have you ever done that before? Use those creation rules?
No, not for now.
Don't. Because if you were to make just a basic fighter or basic anything that's in the player's handbook, you're gonna need like twice the amount of experience in order to be that character. Like just in how it's set up, it's good shtick management. You know, if you really have a concept you want to be, but ultimately you're gonna be boned. Anyway, prerequisite for the Alchemist is wisdom, because you know what? Just because you know that adding these two, something might happen, gotta have a little common sense to say, let's not do that right now.
Yeah.
See, wisdom intelligence scores must exceed 12, both of them. Alignment is neutral. Since fighting is not the normal vocation, the maximum armor class is 5, may use only one-handed weapons, and their attack levels
excluding magical swords. So if you have a +1 claymore, you can use it.
They may use only one-handed weapons. They cannot use any swords.
But is that excluding that rule?
That's the way it would be written, then, especially if it's following the cleric. And their attack levels advance as clerics. They have saving throws of fighters with a bonus +2, blah, 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 blah. Can detect poisons.
Sure.
Neutralize poison.
Sure.
Neutralize paralyzation. Identify poison by tasting. I mean, what? So at level 1, ability to read languages. Level 3, ability to prepare potions and acids. I would hope that would come a little earlier.
Yeah, you'd think. You're not an alchemist yet until you're a level 3 alchemist.
You're a scribe. I can't highlight it for some reason. Whatever. Ability to read magic and hence scrolls. Oh, all right.
Just as thieves.
Again, the idea isn't to talk about every little thing that's here. It's just to go over what's in the magazine. If this interests you, though, for your game, for your basic D&D game or your OSE game, hey, check it out.
We have example potions and what? But I thought you couldn't make these things until level 3.
Well, you could probably use them.
Yeah, fair.
I'd have to look deeper into it. Dust to paralyzation.
Cool.
D&D option, weapon damage.
That's an option?
Yep. The following weapons, it's optional for weapons to do damage?
Really?
The following rules are designed to replace the damage system introduced in Greyhawk. Every 3 levels a fighter advances and every 4 level a thief advances, he may master 1 additional weapon and score the increased damage shown on the expert column. These are limited.
Weapon specialization. It's the beginning
before it was specialization, right?
Yeah.
So normally it does a D4. Well, once you're an expert, it's 2 to 5.
Oh.
For a dagger. What's a longsword? Because, that's kind of the standard, right? Two-handed sword.
I just see regular sword.
So, okay. 1d8 to 1d10. Okay. I'd rather have 1d8 plus 2. I don't want to roll that 1.
Mounted lance. 2 to 12, so it's 2d6, or 2 to 24.
Well, you're still fumbling around with it at this point.
Yeah, at this point, you're 2d6, and then you go to 2d12 after you've been
in a few jousting contests after this.
Yeah. That's a large.
Wait a second.
jump.
So arrows don't change. So being an expert in shooting a bow sucks. Same with pole arms.
Unless it's a sling. If you are a 9-year-old and you practice real hard, you can kill someone with a rock real easy.
Well, this is the Canaanite army. This is David going against Goliath. All right. It's here, the last D&D supplement ever
What?
In 1976.
Last one.
Supplement 4, Gods, Demigods, and Heroes by Kuntz and Ward. And, okay, this is for sure the end now. Had to read what that said. Okay, like I said, just wanted to go through the whole idea is like, we're not going to do all 250, by the way. This is just kind of a lazy man's way of, remember, I'm PCSing soon, so I'm spending a lot of my time worrying about moving and whatnot, and not so much on researching the Twitters and trying to figure out game mechanics. Also, Heathen Dog's got some game mechanic stuff he's going to be working on when I'm gone with some other people. So instead of taking that time away from him, let him have the time he needs in order to prepare all that mess. Stop screen sharing. Okay. Any comments you guys have about that Dungeon
I
Magazine?
thought that the artwork was generally better, especially in the cover. And it wasn't all war games, or I'm sorry, it wasn't all what do you call it? Miniature combat like it was the first issue. It had a lot more of tabletop stuff. So
it's always going to have some miniature. Remember, I mean, that's the whole core of D&D.
Yeah.
With chainmail. I didn't see any references to chainmail this time around, though. No. But we'll see how they get. I'm guessing I'm going to get through. This is going to be, like I said, anytime I'm not feeling well, anytime I don't have time to prepare for something, anytime, whatever, I'm going to be going through these Dragon magazines. Maybe one day, 10, 15 years from now, we will go through all 250. Ready to stream for 10, 15 years, Heathen Dog?
Yay.
He said, I was going to do a Rick and Morty thing, but decided not to. By the way, anybody who's in the little Discord private chat that wants to pop in for segment 2, you're welcome to pop in at any time now. Any final comments from you, DM Bluddworth, about Dragon Magazine?
No, other than that, the fact that it is a very useful resource. Was back in the day, and it still is today. So you can see where where some things came from, and also you can still pull some pretty decent ideas out of it and use them in your game.
Yep, stories in particular. All the stories are great ways to steal ideas.
Yeah, I think on the story front, I would be curious to find out is if they played the game and then wrote the story to match what was happening in their particular scenarios or whatever they were doing, because there does seem to be a very smooth transition if you wanted to take any of the stories from Dragon Magazine and convert them into game adventures. And I have a feeling that they probably were playing it and then writing it afterwards. And that's why you have that, that synergy between what you're reading and what you could actually do in the game.
For a potential short story, I mean, I guess it could turn into a novel if you keep living. But I like that idea. Like, I've always actually wanted to do that. Like, take a session and turn it into something like not a novel, not like a Dragonlance thing. I wouldn't have the patience for that. But turn it into a short story of where this character died, where this character tripped over a staircase, where this character, get all those ones. You got to get all those ones. I'll get you in just a moment, GM Dave. Got to get all those ones written down really well. All right, let's get segment 1 off. I want to thank everybody. We hit that subscribe thing. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Also, check out DM Bloodworth's channel, which you will be able to find out in the video that actually went live 2 days ago. Because segment 2 always goes before segment 1 on YouTube, because I'm like that.